Sorry about the technical difficulties. Again, looking at my second example, I take my denominator of 8 from right there, and I divide it by 2, which gives me an answer of 4. Since my numerator is less than my quotient, I'm going to keep my number as 9, or I'm going to round down to 9. In this second example, my denominator is 6, so I do 6 divided by 2, which gives me an answer of 3. In this example, my numerator is greater than my quotient, so I'm going to take my 6 and I'm going to round it up to 7. So my answer would be 9 minus 7 equals 2. So really, either one of these ways, whichever you find to be easier, is an acceptable way to take your whole number and round it to the nearest, take your mixed number and round it to the nearest whole number. Let's take a look over here to the guided practice. Number 1 says 3 1/4. I didn't like that angle. I'm sorry, guys. 3 1/4. I draw my number line. Since there is no whole number, I start with 0 and I go to 1, and I have fourths. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. I plot my point right here, and I can see the line is much shorter going this way than it is over there. So I'm going to round to 1. So your answer should look like this. 3/4 turns into 1. Number 2 is 1 5/7. And I do the same strategy where I'm only going to be looking and doing my number line from 1 to 2. So I count up my sevenths, 1 7, 2 7, 3 7, and so on. I plot my point at 5/7, and I look at the lines. Here's the line to 1, and here's the much shorter line to 2. So I know that I'm going to round 1 5/7 to 2. Let's skip to another problem, number 5. This is one where we're going to have to estimate a sum of two mixed numbers. So I'm going to do the strategy in the second way. So I have 2 4/10 plus 3 5/8. I take my denominator and I divide it by 2, which gives me an answer of 5. Since my numerator is smaller than my quotient, I'm going to leave my number at 2 or round down to 2. So you can see I got that right there. In this one, I'm going to take my denominator, divide it by 2, and I get 4. Since my numerator is greater than my quotient, I'm going to round it up to 4. So my answer would be 2 plus 4 equals 6. And those are the two different ways that you can estimate the sums and differences of mixed numbers. I hope this was clear for you. Sorry again about the technical difficulties, and I'll see you tomorrow.